What is up, guys? Wolfgang here. So today I want to talk about smart assistants. Now, I've been using these for probably since their inception, most specifically Google Assistant. And well, I had some thoughts I want to share on their evolution and where they're headed. Now, real quick, this video is not being sponsored by anyone. All these thoughts are my own, and the Google Home Assistant I'm using for this demo was bought with my own money, as well as my watch. First of all, what are smart assistants? Or voice assistants? You can call them whatever you want. Well, the most common ones are Google Assistant, Siri, Bixby, and Amazon Alexa. I may have triggered some of your devices there. Sorry about that, but if you know what they are, you can skip this part of the video. But for those of you who don't know, these things are basically intended to assist you. I mean, the name kind of says it all. Interacting with your voice. So they usually have something of a trigger word, something you'd say for them to start listening to what you're saying and respond to your question. So in the case of the Google devices, it goes something like okay, and then you would also say Google afterwards, those two words together, and it would activate the Google Assistant. And well, each one of these has a different trigger word, and some of them, are more annoying than others. Some of them are, whatever, pretty chill. So what they do is, like I just mentioned, they listen to you, to what questions you have or anything you say to it, and they'll answer accordingly. So for example, if I wanted to set an alarm on my Google Home Mini, I would say something like the trigger word and then tell it to set an alarm. Now, this is really convenient if you have your hands full or you just really don't feel like pulling out your phone and doing it yourself. And well, sometimes it can be faster as well. Now, which is best between the four? Well, Aaron, or Mr. Who's the Boss, actually made a video on this. And well, through his testing and numerically, the Google Home or Google Assistant in general is much better, as it can do most things pretty well. And for some specific things, another will be better. But in general, comparing them in the same circumstances, it seems to be that the Google Assistant is the best, and that's the experience I've had personally. So I'll link the video down below. I recommend you check it out. He made a really good test around these assistants. But in the end, whatever you like or whatever your ecosystem is will determine what you should get. So if you're completely into an Apple ecosystem, it might be easier to just use Siri and none other. Also, depending on the rest of your smart devices, if you have any, that can determine which is most compatible with everything and which one would be most useful to you. Now then, going specifically into my Google Home Mini, which is now discontinued in this name. It does have somewhat of a successor with a different name. I just really haven't cared to look into it. As far as smart assistants go, the speaker quality may increment, but besides that, they don't really get that much better year per year. For example, in this one, the sound quality is really good, honestly. Now, I am considering that I got this for free, of course. I ended up buying a Chromecast, and this came included with it for free, which was a really good deal in my opinion. But for what is around, I'd say for $30 around that price, this is a really good speaker, which works on Bluetooth, or you can use the voice assistant to play music directly from it, and it works really well. Now, if I do compare it to something like my Creative Labs Pebble 3, these will win. They are two speakers, they are much larger in dimensions, but that's a very different kind of device. Video up here, by the way. Now, as far as inputs go, well, you do have Bluetooth, like I said. This one does not have a 3.5 headphone jack. And for most of the activities you'll do with this device, you will use your voice. However, it does have two touch sensors on the side, which you can use to lower and raise volume. Here comes the interesting part, I guess, how I use it. Now, as I've had this thing for quite some time, probably about 4 years, this specific one, I've only ever really used it to either turn off and on my lights or set an alarm. And once in a while I'll have a random question for it, which I just don't want to type out on my computer, and this makes it convenient. But the truth is that it's most of the time just standing there doing nothing. And that's when the new Galaxy Watch, well, I guess not really new anymore, but the Galaxy Watch 4 steps in. Now this watch is about a year old, the Galaxy Watch 5 is out now, but what I want to say is that Wear OS is out now for this device. It's been out for a while. And one of its greatest integrations for it is the Google Assistant. And having the Google Assistant on my wrist has been much more convenient than having it plugged in an outlet in my room. As having it here, I can set it up anywhere I want to set an alarm on my watch or to turn off the lights if I'm for some reason want to turn them off from my bathroom, or if I have a random question, I don't have to be in my room to ask that random question. I can just hold this button or activate the trigger word activation, which I did not activate, but I can just hold this button and it'll launch and answer my question. So personally, I believe that this kind of device is somewhat going extinct, as some TVs now also have voice assistant in them, which makes these things not so necessary per se. Now, the one downgrade from going to the watch after using this is the speaker quality, of course. However, I ended up not really playing music from my watch. It just seems a little bit weird to do so. And even playing music from here, I really haven't done, especially having the Creative Labs speakers. So this thing just ended up being there, really, not really in use at all. And in fact, just about 6 months ago, I actually unplugged it to see if I actually am using it at all. And the truth is that I'm not. I haven't used it, and I haven't missed it ever since I got the update on my watch. And that really did make this device not useful for me personally. How useful will it be to you? Well, it depends if you even care about smartwatches, if you use smart home things, or if, you even care about, if you're somewhat paranoid about your privacy, as this thing is technically always listening to you, as it will listen to the trigger word and answer to that. But some people are concerned about their own privacy at home when they don't want this to activate, when they don't want this to listen. There is a mute switch right here in the back on my model, but how much does that mean to you? It could be just a dead slider and doing nothing. It could be real. I can't really say. I am not really that paranoid about it, as I don't really have much interesting that could be sold, I'd say. But in the end, that's up to you if you care about that. And like I said, I don't use the hardware itself that often. Now on my watch, I do use it a lot, as it is the software itself or the assistant that really makes it shine. And the hardware itself I don't really see much use into buying it now, specifically dedicated hardware like this. If it's an additional on TV, that could be an arguing point to why to buy that TV instead of another. But buying the hardware, a speaker, just for a smart assistant, I don't know, it's kind of off for me. I don't want to end it in a negative note, as these things are still pretty good. If you really just want a smart assistant, it's something minimalist to go in your living room or something like that, and to have a pretty decent speaker, then this thing's a pretty good option. It is basically a comfort item just to not have to type it out onto a keyboard, and it's not a negative. If you think it's worth it, that's what matters. If you want it, you can buy it, and you're gonna enjoy it. It is a really nice device. All I'm saying is that sometimes buying the specific hardware for it is not that necessary. But if it works for what you want, then it's worth it. All right, guys. So those are my thoughts on smart assistants, most specifically on Google Assistant, as I don't really use Siri, of course. Alexa is I don't really use it either. I don't use any other, basically just Google Assistant, as I gave them all a shot and don't really enjoy them all that much, except the Google Assistant. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button so you can watch more videos like it. Hit the bell icon so you get notified. And thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day.